Hey guys, this is Allison Maxwell, and I'm the reading coach at Bell Forest Elementary. I wanted to just visit with you for a minute and talk to you about some of the great things that we're doing at Bell Forest when it comes to reading. We've had a big emphasis on taking a look at words that are new to us or words that we don't know and learning some strategies in order to be able to, what we say, decode, sound them out, read the words. And so our teachers have been talking to students about syllable types and how every syllable has at least one vowel sound, and helping kids go through some strategies and doing lots of practice with words, new words, nonsense or made up words, words that they may have seen before and even know how to read, but teaching them how they all fall into one of those 6 different syllable types. What I wanted to talk to you about today is backing up even further before we look at letters and we match sounds to those letters and we blend those sounds to read. We actually have been studying phonology, which is basically the study of the sounds that we hear in the English language by just listening. Listening to adults carry on conversations around us, listening to what we hear on the television, words that we hear. What can students do with those words? Can they count the sounds they hear in those words? Can they take a simple sentence that's spoken and think about the words that are within that sentence? And this is known as phonological awareness. And you may have heard about this or even received some letters coming home that we might be working with students just a little extra in what we call word games or playing with the sounds that we hear. And so I wanted to just take a minute and give you some examples of what we're doing with students. And so if you wanted to try some of these at home, when you're riding around in the car, when you're shopping in the grocery store, anytime your kiddos are with you and you want to talk to them about the words and the sounds that they hear in the words that they hear. So I'm going to share my screen. And so I just want to share some things with you. This idea of phonological awareness, it's basically having the ability to, and the awareness to think about the sounds that we hear in spoken words. We can think about those in syllables. We can separate individual words into the beginning sound and then the vowel sound. Or we can actually take a word, one word, and just look at the individual sounds in that word. And that's called phonemic awareness. And so I want to share this with you. Phonological awareness, remember, is that ability to think about the sounds that we hear, work with the sounds that we hear in the words that are spoken. Students can be in different stages in phonological awareness. They might be at the word awareness level, where they can think about individual words that are spoken. They can count those words. They know when someone pauses and says another word, that there's a difference in those 2 words. Also, when students hear words, sentences, language, and conversation, they can think about the syllables that they hear in words. And this doesn't just come natural for everyone. We talk to our kids about how every syllable has one vowel sound. And when we make a vowel sound, our chin drops. And so if I said the word, word, it just has one syllable. My chin dropped one time. If I said the word little, I can see and feel that my chin's dropping twice. That means there's 2 vowel sounds that I hear, and they're 2 syllables. And we ask kids to clap those syllables, to maybe pat their leg, think about counting those syllables, just so we can see that they can hear those and listen for those individual syllables. We can even think of words, just individual words. And like I said earlier, what makes words rhyme? Well, not that they have the same ending sound, but they have a vowel sound and an ending sound that come together to rhyme, like mom and Tom. Both of those words rhyme because they say And so we work with kids on rhyming, and we try to see where they are in this area of phonological awareness. Are they at the onset and rhyme level? All the way down to the smallest unit of sound, which is a phoneme. It's the individual sounds that we hear in words. And so if I said the word cat, I hear k, at. I hear 3 sounds. And if I took cat and I told you the middle sound was ah, or I took away the k, the beginning sound, then I'm left with at. And that's what we call manipulating phonemes, or basically really working with the individual sounds and words to make new words. And so here are some examples. If a student is at the word level, then they can listen to the sentence, listening, no print, I like to play at school. And they can count those words. I like to play at school. and they can hear 6 words spoken. If they're at the syllable level, like we said earlier, they can hear the word cat, and notice they can feel their chin dropping, that one vowel sound. Head has 1 syllable. Or even the word tin man, and they can hear and feel that there's 2 syllables there. And remember, this is not any print or words that they are reading. They're hearing and listening to these words spoken. Onset and rhyme, like I said, words rhyme because that vowel and any consonant sounds after the beginning sound is the rhyme, the R-I-M-E, that rhymes, R-H-Y-M-E. So if you have the word bat, B is the onset, and at is the rhyme. And so if I can locate those, I can think of other words that rhyme with at, that same sound, the vowel sound and the following consonants. And since this is not in print, the word clocks and the word fox both rhyme, even though they're not spelled the same. We're wanting students to be able to hear in those individual words what makes them rhyme. And then we go all the way down to the phoneme level. And honestly, parents, this is where we're spending most of our time. What might seem to be playing word games, we use counters or candy even, so that we can think about the sounds we hear. We can take away a sound. We can add a new sound. This is what we call phoneme manipulation. We're really working with individual words to see if kids can identify sounds, isolate different sounds, blend sounds. All of this is so important. And, you know, even students that are 11, 12 years old, up to high school students and even adults, some of them aren't to this manipulation level. They're not able to take a word like cat and take away a sound. It seems pretty simple with cat, but when we get words that begin to have blends, look at the example here on the screen, the deletion stage. So if I say the word stand, and then I ask you to say stand, but don't say t, then the word is sand. And this is sometimes harder for students because they don't always picture that word stand in their mind, the letters that represent those sounds. They're totally relying on what you're saying, that they can repeat it the correct way, and then they're taking sounds away and adding sounds. Actually, being phonemically aware at this phoneme stage, it's one of the predictors of great reading success. The other one being able to identify all the letters quickly, automatically. Because if I gave you a silly word, say bamnopsin, not maybe a word you've heard before because I made it up, there's a lot that has to happen, especially if I ask you to listen to that word and then write that word. If you can't think about the phonemes, the individual sounds in those words, the syllables, what letters represent the sounds, you have what we say holes in that phonological awareness. And we're trying to fill those gaps with kiddos so that they can begin to then look at the print, look at the letters, blend the letters, and actually decode the words. And so this is just where we're starting with students. There's no statute of limitations, so to speak, when it comes to phonemic awareness. We have adults that we work with that are trying to learn to read or just have always struggled with reading and didn't really understand why. It's usually because they can't manipulate the sounds that they hear in words at this particular level. So I just wanted to give you some information. I know you've heard phonological awareness and your kids may be talking to you about, Mama, I go with a group, or Grandma, I go with a group, and we sit down and we play a lot of word games and we repeat the words the teachers say, but we don't see them in print. We're just working with the sounds. Well, that's good work. And that's work that's going to help them to become a proficient reader and a confident reader, especially if they're older in 5th or 6th grade and they've always had a bit of a struggle and they didn't really understand why. So Allison Maxwell here, reading coach, Bell Forest, and I want you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to contact your teachers, talk to your students about what they're learning, and you're always welcome to email me as well if you want some extra help. Thanks.